So that brings us to the end of our GSEA Kenya 2020. This is really one of my favorite competitions. I always look at the students and I get so inspired by the energy that they bring, by the passion that they bring, their unwavering courage, and their no sense of fear. And I always think to myself at the end of this, how come I don't have this feeling in my own business right now? What is it that I'm missing? And it made me think of something the other day. It's a concept called Shoshin. Shoshin means the beginner's mindset. It means when you approach a subject with openness, with eagerness, without any preconceptions. So that even if you are studying something at an advanced level, you look at it and you approach it as a beginner, as a student for the first time. Now, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the room. We have a lot of entrepreneurs following us on Facebook. I want you guys to think in your own experience. Think back to your business and think of a time when you were most excited. When you had the same dreams and desires that you've seen today from these students. Now, I'd bet it's when you started something new. Was it a new product you launched? Was it a new person you hired? Was it a new idea you had? Because you see, great innovation comes from the beginner's minds. The new innovation comes from the beginner. For those of you who don't know me, I started a company about 8 years ago called Buy Rent Kenya, which is a real estate technology company to help people find property. And just very recently, I was on a program for 11 weeks where I was put together with a bunch of other entrepreneurs. And the idea was that in 11 weeks, we would come up with a new business that would be investor ready, that VCs would invest in. My mentor, my trainer would come to me and say, why don't you do something in real estate technology? That's where your experience is in. And my team would say, that's the same thing. You've been successful before in this. Why don't we do something in real estate? So we sat and we brainstormed. But for the life of me, I couldn't see past it. Every idea that came up, I would say, it's not going to work because of this. Or that's not going to work because I've seen it done before. Or the bottlenecks in Kenya are too much. And really what I was saying is that I'd had so much experience in what I'd done before, and I was trying to say to them that I already know where the pitfalls are, and none of what we're going to do here, I've already thought it through, can happen. And what I realize now is that I fell into the expert trap. You see, as Shunsuru Suzuki says, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind there are few. So when I looked at my industry as an expert, I saw no more opportunity, I saw no more innovation. I was looking at it from an expert angle rather than looking at it from a beginner's mind. Now I want to switch gears for a little bit. A lot of us here are privileged enough to be part of this wonderful organization called Entrepreneurs Organization. But I want to challenge us. Do we enter EO falling into the same trap? Yes, to be a member of EO, you run a successful business. Do you come into EO, though, thinking that you are the expert? Or do you come into EO thinking you are the beginner? Because to get the most out of this organization, we have to approach it as though we are students. Students of learning, students of entrepreneurship. When people ask me, what is EO? What do we say? We say it's a peer-to-peer network. We say it's a community of business leaders. But really, let me switch paths. Let's think of it this way. What if I told you EO is a university of learning? Your learning events are the same as your lectures. Your study group is your forum. Your ability to have socials and exchange students is when you travel outside to the global events and you visit the other chapters. And of course, we pay tuition with our yearly subscriptions every year. Now, using that analogy, if I asked you to grade yourself this year in EO, how would you grade yourself? How many classes have you attended? How much of your study group have you paid attention to and implemented? I'm going to talk for myself. I'd probably give myself a C. I'm not doing that well. When I first joined EO, I would attend every single event. I would go to every single learning. And for some reason, as I've stayed longer in the organization, I find myself making excuses. Again, I'm changing my mindset, moving away from becoming a beginner and becoming more of an expert in how I see it. And I am the one who's losing out. And so for those of you here today who are EO members, and for those of you who are following us on Facebook, I want you to help me out. We're going to change this process. Our two learning chairs, Rahana and Ani, along with 16 other chapters around the world, have secured Professor Scott Galloway, who's one of the top 50 professors in the world, for an event on, I believe it's 4th of December, not 9th of December. On 4th of December. And I want you all to take out your phones right now, or if you're on Facebook, open your laptops, and I want you to register for this event. I want you to make use of your tuition. I want you to be a student, I want you to learn, and I want you to implement. And now I want to challenge you further, because we don't come to life just to pass. We don't come to life just to get a good grade. What's it going to take for you in EO to get a doctorate? When you're in this organization, what are you going to do to get the most out of it? I want you to challenge yourself when you leave here today, to ask yourself, what can I do to get the most out of my learning from this organization? Because not only are we in EO to be entrepreneurs, we need to be students of entrepreneurship. We must never mix the idea of success and money with learning and growth, because ultimately that is what our organization provides us. If there's anything you leave here with from me today, ladies and gentlemen, it's this. Have a beginner's mindset. Come from a place of open-mindedness. Always keep learning, always keep innovating, and always find the opportunity. Thank you.